Hey everyone, this is Kat out on the trail today, doing a little bit of an afternoon hike with my twin sister, and it's pretty snowy still, so we still have a bunch of snow in some places in Mass. I was not planning on doing a super snowy hike, but we walked up a trail and hit a bunch of stuff that hadn't thawed yet. So here we are. You can see there's a bunch. The trail itself is basically just ice, and I don't have any spikes or crampons with me today, but we're making it through. Some of the traction on my hikers, my Solomons, is pretty good, so not too many concerns there. Hopefully I don't break an ankle. I promised last time I'm going to be talking a little bit about the stove system that I've got, the cook system, and also about the water filtration and sort of water storage system that I've got going on. So let's get to it. Let's see, we're building the pack. I did bring the pack on the trail with me today. Let's see what we have inside. I'm gonna start with the stove and cook system. So I have the Toaks 650 milliliter stove sort of mug or pot, however you wanna think about that. You can see it comes with a nice little stuff sack, this bright orange guy. It just came with this. I didn't have to buy it separately, which was pretty nice. Comes with a fairly nice toggle, so I just kind of open that toggle up. And you can see it does come with a lid. So this lid right here comes with it, and you're able to kind of take that out of there. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see on the video, but a great part about this lid is this little divot right here. So this little divot right there allows you to kind of hold the lid up, or hold this piece of the lid up more sturdy or more steadily. So when you're cooking and you need to take it up and down, it's not gonna like flop down and then you burn your hands trying to get to it. So I like that feature of the lid. So again, that's the Toaks 650 milliliter titanium. Inside, this has a ton of storage capacity. So even when you're not cooking, it's pretty useful to keep in your pack. I do have my stove and my lighter right inside of there. So this is the stove that I have. This is the Snow Peak Ultralight Max stove. It's a canister stove. This is the stuff sack that it came in. I might switch this out. It's kind of like a velvet material, so it's a bit heavy for me, honestly. And I might just get a smaller bag to put it in. So you can see here's the stove right here. I'll tell you guys at some point in another video a funny story about the first time I tried to use this stove, but you can kind of open up those blades or those little triangle parts and you can see that the stove goes like that. Then you can lift each one of these. It's pretty sturdy, I will say. These have little teeth. I'm not sure if you can see on the video the teeth. So when your mug is sitting on top of it, it's actually pretty sturdy. And then you can sort of unhinge underneath it. This is the control for the flame or for the gas. So you kind of undo that and then you can twist and turn that guy around. So that's the stove in and of itself. Also within the stuff sack for the stove, I do have a lighter. I know that lighters, some people like, the mini Bics, some people like Bics. This is a Zippo Windproof lighter. So typical of your normal Zippo. So a nice little lighter. It again fits right with the stove inside of that same stuff sack. Also inside of the mug itself, I have the fuel canister. So I'll take that out, I'll dump that out. This is just a regular canister stove. It's the in this case, it's the Snow Peak isobutane propane mix. This is 110 grams. You can get these bigger. I actually do have a couple that are bigger. In one of my last videos, I was out with like one of the, I think it's 220, but this fits so nicely. It nests right inside of the mug itself. So I was really jazzed about that. I think that's probably the strategy that I'll use for the actual AT. And then if I take out of the stuff sack, then we have the pot or the mug. So one of the features I really loved was the little handles on the side. So you can see outside of this little Toaks guy, the handles, and they snap or they fold or snap down close to it for better packing and better storage. Also on the side, it does have some measurements, and I don't know if you can see on the side there, you can see that. And then inside, it's a bit easier to read so that it has it while you're looking inside. So really nice. I've used it a couple of times. Really can't complain. It's really durable. I've dropped it a few times. So yeah, a pretty good little stove system there. If I am able to, I'll cook a little bit of something for you guys and add that to the video just so you can see how it cooks, or maybe I'll add a clip of the tea that I did. So if we want to pack it back up, we just put the mug back in the stuff sack, and then we can put inside the fuel canister. It goes right like that. Then we're gonna pack up our stove and put the lighter back in the sort of velveteen or velvet bag. I'm gonna snap the stove handle right back onto it so it's kind of stuffed down a little bit. We'll put these little guys back in, close that up, and it goes into the velvet bag just like that. So super easy to get in and out, and again, easy to set up and use. Once I have the fuel canister, I just put that whole contraption right on top. Kind of have to stuff it down a little bit, and this time I didn't pack it back the best, most efficient way, but you can get it in there. And then you finally just put the lid right on top of that, and you pull the string, the drawstring of your stuff sack. So now it looks like this. Then you can kind of draw this down. So it does pack up quite nicely. I can say it's easy to locate also in the pack. Bright orange is always great for gear. When everything else in your pack is black, you can easily find the stove. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other things I brought out in the pack build today. I do want to talk about my food system, but not specifically about food itself. Food is sort of like a hotly debated subject. Everyone is very particular about the food that they bring on the AT. Some people like to just do the junk food thing. Some people want to be healthier. Some people have dietary restrictions. I'm not ready to talk about that yet. I've done a lot of research, but I'm still not 100% sure what strategy I'm going to go with. What I do want to talk about though is the food safety. So I have with me my bear bag. So this is something that I'm going to be bringing with me on the Appalachian Trail. You can see this is the Z-Packs bear bagging kit. So it comes with the food bag itself. So you can see this is pretty big. I mean, this is, I forget how many liters it is. I can look it up, but it's pretty decently large for a food bag. Up at the top, it has this really nice clip system. So if I wanted to clip it together when I get all my food in there and I've rolled it on down, I can do that. It comes with its own mini carabiner, so I can hang that up. It's part of the bear hang. So it comes with everything right there. This top is Velcro, so if I just open it up like that, I can certainly get in there. With the bag, it also has a little rock sack. So this is for any stones that you can find on the side of the trail, you know, as you're hanging your bag, to weight it down so that you're able to throw the rope over a tree branch and it doesn't get stuck in the trees, or hopefully doesn't get stuck in the trees. So that was a nice little addition too. This little, same things, it's made of the same material. It's pretty cool. And then it also comes with the rope. So it's really a whole system all built into one, which is why I liked it. Plus I wanted to try out a couple pieces of gear from Z-Packs, and this afforded me a good opportunity. I really like the material and I really like how durable it is. I might grab some stuff sacks for like clothes bags and stuff from there as well. So stay tuned there. I also want to talk a little bit, we talked about the mug situation. Let's talk about the spoon or the spork. So originally my first thought was to get this little guy, which is a titanium spork, and it's really light. It's super nice. It has a pretty decent handle and it has like the little fork, like the fork part of the spork. However, the first time that I put this in my mouth, I almost gagged. The bowl of it, you guys can see, it's the same material as the handle, and it's a pretty creepy mouthfeel, depending on if you're fairly sensitive to textures. I don't actually consider myself that sensitive, but I put this in my mouth and I was like, under no circumstances can I live with that for, 5 to 7 months. So alternative, I did end up grabbing the other version. This is also Toke's. This is another version. It's just a spoon, so it doesn't have the little teeth, the little fork teeth, but it has a polished bowl. And I think that's a little bit easier for me personally to deal with. It's also going to be nicer if I do end up having any of those, like, the prepackaged meals in those bags that you can just pour water into. The handle is really nice and long, so you can kind of get in there and scoop that out pretty nicely. So that's what's in the food bag for now, and that's the food bag itself. I will at some point do a video about sort of my intentions for food. I know that people's ideas about food can change quite a bit when they're out on the trail versus what they thought they were going to do. So we'll see what happens there. There are a ton of different filtration options out there. You can do things like the Sawyer squeeze, you can do gravity, you can do, iodine stuff, whatever you want to do. There's a lot of different options. So I'm not claiming that my option is going to be better than anybody else's option. We'll see how it goes when I get out there. But I did choose to go with the Katadyn Gravity Bee Free. So this is the situation that I have, the strategy that I have going. So let's open it up and see what's inside here. Again, it came with this stuff sack. I didn't have to buy that separately. So we'll see. We have the bag itself. So this is 3 liters. So you have the bag for the water, and what you do is, I'll try to do a demonstration later, but you put the water in through here. So you put it in a stream or wherever, a pond, throw it in here. Then you have the actual filter itself. So that's the filter that goes in it. This screws into here. So if you do that, you're able to just screw it in. Similar to other things of this nature with the hose, it has this little release valve right here. So you can kind of push on that to release when you do get it set up. From there, I did put the hose together beforehand. So there's some hosing, there's some pieces to the hosing that are just important to kind of, I just read the simple instructions and did it without issue. So the white plugs into the white part, and this black part down towards the bottom is where the water actually comes out of. This piece in the middle is sort of like the water control. So you can see if I ratchet it down, that's gonna stop the water from flowing, and then you can kind of peel that back and open it back up to start the water. So whenever the water is starting to get through the filter, you can easily put it and make the water start going. I've heard a lot of horror stories about Giardia. I don't feel like I have a sensitive stomach, but I also don't want to be getting sick on the trail. So water filtration and the health of the water for me is very important. This is also something important to me in my normal life, and when I travel, I bring a life straw with me. So this is something I first got. I went to India with my dad a few years ago. I didn't even break it out of the suitcase, but it's sort of like more of a peace of mind thing for me to know that wherever I go, if something does happen and I need some water and I can't get something clean, I'm able to use the life straw and then I can get clean water. I'm debating whether or not I want to bring this as a backup. I know some people bring iodine solution or some other treatment solution as a backup, and I'll definitely consider that. That's just what I had with me already. So I might do a couple of, test hikes with it, see if I feel like it adds too much weight to the pack. It's relatively light, but when ounces count, ounces count. The last thing I wanted to talk about related to water is really water storage and what I'm actually going to be drinking out of, since I'm not going to be drinking out of the filter, the Catadine. So I have, and I've had for a while, an Osprey bladder. So this guy, it's a 3 liter. I love it. I take it on every single hike I ever do. Integrates super well with the Osprey packs. So this is an Osprey. My day hiking pack is an Osprey as well. I love this thing. It is great. So it has a little mouthpiece and it has a magnet, and the other piece of the magnet straps onto your chest strap. So it kind of clips on there. So you can leave that to your chest and then you just take a sip out of it whenever you get thirsty, or whatever cadence you choose. It does unhook, so if you need to unhook it to basically wash it, you can certainly do that. It's easy enough, and then you just plug it back in. Once you do fill it up, there's like a little fill line. It says like don't fill above this. Then you kind of fold the top of it down, and this you just run across. There's like a little divot, and you run it across that to make sure that it's closed. So really great, super simple system. Basically what I'm gonna be doing is filtering through the Catadine and just filling up this water bladder. So that is like my primary strategy for water. And again, in the Osprey pack, you can't see it on the video right now, but it just fits right down into the pack, into the back of the pack near the frame. So that's where it goes. There's a little clip so that it doesn't get too far down in there. A nice little gray mini clip that it clips onto. I'm also planning to carry with me a Nalgene bottle. So this is the Nalgene that I typically will carry with me when I'm hiking. It's a 32-ounce Nalgene. I know that some people think the Nalgene bottle is too heavy and they choose to go more with like the smart water bottle situation. For me personally, I would rather save the plastic waste. I'm trying to do the trail as sustainably as I possibly can. So for me, switching out smart water bottles every time mine gets a hole in it or gets destroyed or gets super dirty and disgusting, I don't really love the thought of that. Now, for some people that definitely works. This is a personal preference. So I'm gonna be carrying this Nalgene bottle with me. I think the nice thing here, for the AT, I'm not really concerned too much about water carries. So it's not like the PCT or some parts of the CDT or other trails where you're in the desert and you need to be carrying a ton of water. I think for most of what I've researched so far, I'll probably only be needing, 2 to 3 liters at a time, which my hydration bladder definitely can fit that purpose. One of the reasons I want to bring this is more for camp at night. So this is kind of a bit of a nicer strategy to be filling up that mug with water to cook out of. It's also something for me, I need to have water near me at night. I tend to get really dry mouth, so I want to make sure that I have something that I can just undo the top of it, take a sip, redo the top, and ideally go back to bed, although my insomnia might not let me do that. But you know, I don't really want to be messing with the hydration bladder in the tent, try and figure out a way to hang it up somewhere or put it somewhere out of the way where I'm not going to kick it. So this is sturdy, it's tried and true, tested, so I'm going to be bringing both of those strategies for storage of water on the trail with me. This is pure ice and snow. Very dangerous and scary to walk on. Oh man. I hope I don't break a leg. Really pretty though. Super great day for a hike. All right, so first time attempting to actually use the Canister Be Free, the gravity filter. Still pretty icy. We had to pick a spot that we could see at least a little bit of water. So I'll try to crack through the ice. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Still this time. Open up a little bit. It's pretty murky. You can see that's like, I don't want to normally drink that. Okay, that was a little bit difficult. So it was not really any free flowing water. So it took a while to gather this up, but I got about 1.5 liters, really just to test it out, just to try out the filter and see how it works. So I put the filter back on, as you can see, and then I'm gonna attach the hose. So I just easily screw it on like that. And then let me just make sure this is closed, which it is. Mostly closed. Okay, so then from here, it has a nice little hang strap. So I can hang it from a branch like this. There we go. This is where the gravity part comes into play. And I will take a bladder and I'm just gonna filter it into here. So I put this bad boy down in there and then I open this back up. Right, so you can see it's filling it up. Going a little bit slowly because it's not hanging directly, the bladder isn't hanging directly underneath the filter, but you can see it's pretty fast. I think some of the concern that some people have had is that it doesn't filter fast enough, but as you can see, like it's going pretty quickly, so I'm excited about it. You can see that water doesn't look great. This water looks a lot better, so hopefully the filter is doing what it should be doing, and take a little sip and see what it tastes like. That was less than a minute for this whole amount. That's like at least 1.5 liters. Went right in there. It looks much more clear. Let's give it a taste. So I'm gonna close this guy up. And again, this is the bladder. It just fits right inside my pack. And I use this guy for a number of years now. Not bad, not bad. It does not taste dirty. It tastes relatively clean, I would say. I mean, this is also a relatively clean pond, but mission accomplished.